Men of Reddit, what was the moment that instantly made you lose your crush on someone? When she, the most promiscuous woman I've dated, dropped the bomb of my religion doesn't allow contraceptives, and I don't believe in condoms. Bitch, do not talk to me or my pee never again. Finding out that she had a girlfriend. I have no problem with gay people or anything. I'm just a guy who knows when to give up. Hearing how she talks about her friends and her sister when they aren't around all the time. She had that toxic personality trait, but I'm the woman. I'm the prize. You should be grateful I'm even considering giving you pussy. No, young lady, you are a prize, and so am I. When she started dating my best friend, I feel like I should probably explain this a bit as I may have made the two of them look quite bad here. I had a crush on this girl for quite a while, but never had the guts to really make a move on her. I ended up going with her as friends to the school formal one year when she asked, but still didn't end up making a move. After a while she started showing signs of interest around my best mate. Being a kind friend, I may have encouraged it. Wanting the best for my mate didn't take away the fact that it still really stung when I found out they were a thing. I cried lol. They were quite a cute couple initially, both into anime and that sort of thing. They didn't last long though as she eventually pulled an ultimatum on him, essentially your friends or me, and they broke up. This was also a bit of a sign to me that perhaps we would not have been compatible. They are both nice people, and they are both good people. Both are now in good relationships with other people, and are doing really well as far as I know. I've since been told by others that it was good that I never started dating her, something about compatibility I guess, and probably her attention neediness, and I think they're hinting at something else, but I haven't asked. Still, she's doing fine with her current man, which is good to hear. I've basically gotten over this, as time heals all wounds. But I still find myself attracted to her when I see her old feelings die hard I guess. And she is very attractive, the sort of beautiful, cute, nerdy girl, but I'm staying away, mostly because she is in a relationship and I would feel wrong to get involved somehow. So yeah, still single, still not quite ready to mingle. Apparently it is weird to be a virgin, let alone never been in a relationship, at 19. But most of the time I'm not too fussed. I have bigger worries than who I'm gonna get to screw in the weekends. To clarify, they are not bad people. She was not my girlfriend, just a crush. I still feel sorry for the others here that had it where the girl was in a relationship with them and shifted to dating their best friend. That really sucks and I can sorta relate. She got a ferret. I knew she couldn't take care of a ferret. She lost the ferret. I realized she wasn't a fully formed human being. She went around bragging to people that I had a crush on her. Don't know what you'll think about that, but that's a douchey move to me. Wake up, drink. Shower, drink. On the way to work, drink. 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 Alcoholism. She threw trash on the floor. When I turned her down for a simple hookup and she said, "Nobody turns me down." Passive aggression turned up to 11. I got sober. Long-time crush of 8 years finally came over. After dinner and about an hour of chatting, this gem came up. Ugh. Science. It's so clear that science is a lie. There's no way the earth is round. And I'm not saying it's flat, but I think it just goes on forever, and saying it doesn't is an excuse for people to be lazy. I just hate that in school we were taught these lies about gravity and physics, and I wish schools would stay out of our heads with all that. Trust me, I pushed the topic a bit. Certain there was some joke here. The conversation only got worse about how the American government at some point decided to make all of this science up, including STDs. She always wanted to sit in the bottom rows in the theater about 10 feet from the screen. She didn't know how to order off of menu. What happened? Standard Mexican restaurant for lunch. So rather than looking over the menu, she glances at one section of one page, then when time to order, and just tell the waiter how she wants her burrito and to add rice and beans for the sides. So by the time she's done with her overly complicated order, she racked up a $20 burrito in a place that averages $8 lunches. On top of that, I'm pretty sure how she ordered it was on the actual lunch menu. She did this twice, in the same restaurant, and complained about the price both times. When she used me to travel. We went to a different country to visit my family. Had a great time. I had a crush on her. Then after coming back home I was completely ignored. It hurt. I pushed myself into ignoring her. She brought her dog to my house without asking and fed it Chipotle. Before she brought it over, my whole house smelled like rancid dog crap for about a week after I kicked her out. When she said, well, I'm gonna be a great mom because I'm never vaccinating my kids. First anti-vaxxer I've ever met. Wasn't quite sure how to react. When I took her to the homecoming dance and she ignored me the entire time and acted like she didn't know me. When she fake laughs. That's crap is annoying. When she informed me that she hated cats, not allergic, just didn't like them, and that I'd have to choose between my devoted buddy and her. She couldn't believe that my furry friend triumphed and that I was actually happy to see her go. We went out on a nice nature date and she complained that all the men in our town suffered from Peter Pan syndrome and just wanted to have fun and not grow up and get real jobs. We both worked in the low-paying service industry, so it was confusing, insulting, and hypocritical, not to mention just overall judgmental. Then she lit a cigarette and poof, crushed. I went on a date maybe like a week ago, and all she would do is make nasty comments about Republicans. I tried to steer the conversation to other topics, but she kept constantly going back and being super critical of anything conservative. I'm a pretty staunch liberal, but hating Trump isn't a personality. Baby voice. When she wasn't interested in me. When they sent a romantic poem to me, but it was actually for another person. They just needed to see if it was good enough. She came on pretty strong and shared some really obsessed thoughts about me. Should have been a red flag, but I was young and had a big crush on her for a while. Next day, everyone told me she said I said those things and was really obsessed. That one woke me up enough to walk away. So I'm late to this party, but here we go. Was madly in love with a woman who left me after 2 years in a relationship. I spent 4 years miserable and depressed. I jumped from one girl to another, lost and alone even though I normally had company in my bed. Couldn't get over the ex. She would message me while I was dating another girl and I would break things off with the new girl and chase the dream of getting her back. It wasn't until I started working in a garage that I met this girl who worked the parts counter. She was loud and saucy and called me out on all my crap. Other guys in the shop were half scared, half attracted to her. She hated me for the first year. I figured she had to have something wrong with her if she was that attractive and still single. She drove me absolutely mental. She was stubborn, dramatic and argued like a cornered badger in a bear trap. Spitting, hissing, cursing and swearing. About 1.5 years after we started working together my ex messaged me. It was then I realized that I hadn't thought about her even once since I had met the grumpy caffeine-fueled critter at work. You might not be surprised to know I'm now married to that angry cornered badger. And every day is a reminder I made the right choice. TLDR, got over the ex when I met my wife. Edit, wow. Okay, details of how I got there. It started with memorizing her coffee. Since it's a garage, that is what we ran on. So when I'd get coffee for me and the Targus I was in charge of, I'd make sure to bring her a 2 milk 1 sugar. That got my foot in the potential friendship door. The second step was genuine conversation not based on work. So on slow Sundays I would buy a bag of candy and sit it on her counter. Since Sid faced outwards into the garage, she has a sweet tooth. So when it would get slow on the front counter, and Sundays were always slow, we would sit, eat candy and chat about everything from our favorite colors to telling her stories of stupid things I had done. During one of those conversations I mentioned as a ginger, I've always been more attracted to red-headed females. I thought nothing of it, but she was blonde. About a week later she came in from a hair appointment she had told me all about before she went. Sunday candy totally works. She walks in for her shift after the hair appointment. And wouldn't ya know it, she dyed it red. Looked amazing too. Well, that was it. I was fully on board. So I went across the street, even though it wasn't Sunday, bought a big bag of gummies from Bulk Barn, and picked a purple flower from the mall landscaping on the way back across the street. Purple is her favorite color. Another Sunday candy win. She was on her lunch, so I laid it on her keyboard at her desk behind the counter. She came back from lunch and I didn't go over until I needed an oil filter. Causally asked if she got the present I left for her. The rest is basically talking becoming Facebook massaging. Facebook becoming texts. Me sending her pictures of a prune, which I thought was a date, as in the dehydrated fruit thing. It was a pun attempt at asking her out. She wasn't impressed, but I kept sending her pictures of dried fruit regardless. She still refused to admit it was going to happen. But one afternoon in January she was giving me crap about me torn winter jacket. Help me buy a new one then, I said. So she did. Picked me up even. Met the dogs. 2 huskies. They both loved her instantly. Actually that was mutual. Actually they loved her more than me. Instantly. She has nails. I don't. It's not fair, but a good scratch wins over a dog. She took me coat shopping and, well, we got kicked out of a coffee shop at like 2 AM. Still no goodnight kiss. But I gave her a hug and we confirmed we would go see a movie later that week. I met her at the movie and played it cool. Didn't kiss her goodbye then either. At this point I swear she was thinking I was either gay or scared of her. Second one is still kind of true, but she pushed for me to come watch a Disney movie a few days later. You have no idea how romantic Aladdin is until you end up making out with Robin Williams singing in the background. Kept the relationship a secret for like 2 months from everybody, but it gave us time to make out in the tire rack room and none of the woo-woo crap from the other guys in the shop. I mean, you guys probably didn't need that much detail, but man, I like her. It's fun to remember it all. I'm not the richest person in the world, nor in my friend group really, but I drove my mom's old van to get to places. Well, it was her graduation day and I get invited, so of course I go and everything is fine. But soon a giant storm happens outside, so when it finished people had to run to their cars trying not to get wet and drive home. Problem is my mom's old van doesn't do well in storm conditions, and especially with the likes of the one that happened. So she saw me standing there outside and walked by and jokingly said, "That's what you get for being poor," hahaha, and leaves. Everyone left and I was standing there for 2 hours waiting for it to clear up. I cut communications with her and all her friends. I love humor, but what she did just hurt really. She said if smart people were poor, productivity would increase because minimum wage jobs wouldn't be filled with so many dullards. Drove wasted to meet us at a party/bar. Immediate turn off for me. Shows very poor decision making skills and just establishes themselves as a reckless liability. She asked me for money for a video game console she wants when she has a job and is perfectly capable of paying for it herself. Bish, I'm a human being, not your personal money tree. I asked her to the dance and she said no. Days later, when her ex didn't ask her to the dance like she hoped he would, she said to me, "Okay, I'll go to the dance with you now," assuming my offer was still on the table. She was obviously using me as a safety date, and I lost all interest in her at that moment. I thought she was so perfect before, but then I realized she could be just as ugly as anyone else. When she told me all she does for fun is smoke weed and drink, I down for that. But that's it? I found out we were step siblings, not blood siblings. I went to a concert with this girl and she took about 50 selfies during the show. It would seem that vanity is a major turnoff for me. We met for dinner and were generally having a good time. Near the end she tells me, "I'm glad we did this, but if we are going to keep seeing each other this way, I'm going to need you to quit your job and move in with me. Not find a closer place and a job in her city, but straight up live-in boyfriend. I work as an engineer making pretty good money. She's a bagger at a grocery store in the area." When I asked why, she replied with something about subverting the stereotypical gender norms in a relationship, something. I'm all down for future GS/wife holding a job and doing what she loves, but this was a couple steps too far. Said that wouldn't work with me because I like my job. Drove her back to her apartment and never seen her again. I think the biggest thing for me is, if a girl can't hold a conversation, it kills the physical attraction for me almost immediately. When we woke up she cracked a drink, then did shots, then she did it another time, and I decided I can't hang with that, and the whole thing fizzled out. She was absolutely helpless at every turn. I don't know if she was playing damsel in distress or if she truly lacked the wherewithal to get things done. But what really killed her attractiveness was her complete unwillingness to learn simple things that I ready to teach her. She wanted anyone and everyone to do things for her. She told me she doesn't believe in dinosaurs and that all the museums are just hoaxes to make money. She said, as a vegan I gag when anyone near me eats steak. I love steak. My brother, God bless him, just dumped a girl for casually using the N-word. She said that the movie Teeth was a true story that actually happened. No doubt of that. She was pushing a pyramid scheme. I would have approached her, but I knew that her first inclination would be to sell me something. Apparently me and my friends at that fun, because whenever we are being our usual introverted semi-awkward selves she breaks the silence with well this is fun or some poop like that. It's like she's trying to guilt trip us into being more interesting people. She was trying to impress me when she came to school with cherry scented hairspray, natural scented. I'm allergic to cherries, so I had to be sent to the hospital. She knows that I'm allergic and said, when everyone left the room I wish we could be in this room forever. No. Not me but my buddy was getting really close to this girl he liked. Super pretty, very popular. We were all amazed he had gotten to close friends levels. Hes ready to ask her out, and she said he was too nice to her and said no. Couple weeks later starts dating a thug type. Treated her like crap. My dude was absolutely crushed. Like we're talking going from nice dude to absolute depression mode. He shut himself in his room and vaguely hinted he never felt for someone like this. 2 years go by. He finally got himself out of the stupor. He was back, being with the boys. Cracking cold ones. Playing Cody. Fate somehow decided these two needed to cross paths at a bar. My dude took care of himself. Pretty good looking. And then there was her. Rail thin. You could tell she was doing drugs. Tramp stamp. The whole nine. She said she finally had enough of the dude she was with and wanted to give my buddy a shot and start something with him. Old boy knew right away this wasn't going to happen. He didn't let her down nice. He full on said I don't date druggy bitches. Hope you get the help you need. He came back to us. We had never been so proud of him. Smokers. Always hated the smell even when I smoked, but since I stopped I just can't date someone who smokes. Also it killed my dad. I'm not going to willingly watch that again with another loved one if I have control over it. Was in at a party and walked in a room and they were telling their friends how badly I wanted to sleep with them. When she told me you're smart for a black guy. Also she is an alcoholic. Dude who likes dudes, getting along pretty very well with this cute guy. Then he noticed the bartender was wearing a crucifix and became visibly disgusted. He then went on a long tangent about how all Christians were ignorant sheeple and how he was so glad all gays hate religion. Then I dropped the bomb on him and told him that I was Catholic. He sat there stunned for a second then told me, I feel sorry for you. I replied, don't be, I'm not the miserable one here. He always asked to copy my Spanish homework and I'd let him and was cool with it. Then he borrowed my Rubik's Cube and never gave it back. That's where I draw the line. I would never cheat, but cheating/infidelity is so freaking sexy. I've been cheated on 3 times. I don't find that sexy. She knew I hated the idea too. She never showed up to our date. 30 minutes after the time we were supposed to meet I called her to see if she was just late. She said she decided to go on a last minute trip to Iowa. We were in Indiana. I said hope you have a nice trip and never spoke to her again after that. When he was an asshole to some dude just for dancing weird. He wasn't high or wasted or anything. Just having a night out with his friends and laughing. Crush proceeds to make fun of the way he dances and being someone who gets horribly anxious dancing. My crush for him just poofed out of existence. Teen crush in 9th grade. British girl who had moved to our country with family. She spoke perfectly good Danish. And I fell for her English accent and nice body. Once I got to talking with her. Turned out she was a complete bitch and control freak. And that was that. Called me fat. In 1st grade, we got these shirts as a gift from the school and we put them on over our shirts. My crush didn't like it and he took it off. accidentally taking part of his other shirt, exposing his stomach for a brief moment. I was 6. What did I know? When he referred to black guys as niggers. Nope, sorry. I don't date racists and I don't respect them as human beings. Grow up. The pigment density of one's skin shouldn't matter. My girlfriend once snatched the remote from my hand, and when I told her it wasn't cool she said not sorry. I told her that was definitely not cool. We aren't together anymore. Was in college and a girl called my dorm room asking for Simone, but had the wrong number. We chatted it up, and after a few days she sent me a pic. She was a Beyonce type. My phone wouldn't send a pic so she asked what I looked like. I said some people say I look like Kanye West, and she said oh that's dark enough, oh okay my skin tone is just barely good enough for you. I ghosted her. Laughed at a little person when we were at a restaurant. Started saying racist jokes and said it's okay, I'm from the South. When she told me she took a poop, everyone knows women don't poop, and I can't handle a liar. When she complained about her exes loudly, and when they are rude to waiters. She went on a long racist rant about white people and them not caring about her history. So she doesn't care about this. Then she implied I'm not actually Puerto Rican. Yeah. Number one way to piss us off is to say that. So I was gone pretty quick. Texting me about who she was making out with while wasted. Homosexuality is a disease, but it can be cured. Yeah no thanks, I don't need that sort of thinking in my life. Was hooking up with a girl, and she was on her way out when she picked up my Canova duster, used for air dusting, and took a huge hit off of it and left. Huge turn off and so gross. When I found out she's stupid and only relies on her beauty. She banged one of my friends. When she got that judge to put a restraining order on me, she opened her mouth and a bunch of racist crap started spilling out, but she felt comfortable in saying it, since it was just us white folks present. She was littering. When I had just discovered I was gay, I licked a boy, straight, and he found out and outed me to everyone. She refused to take her medicine. We had gone on a few dates, hung out pretty regularly, and the sex was alright, but she got some kind of infection. I think a kidney infection. It was a few years ago. She wasn't feeling well and came over to my apartment where she refused to take the pills she was supposed to because I don't like the taste / I don't like taking pills. You have a freaking kidney infection. You're 26. You need to grow the frick up. When she started talking down to me on a regular basis. When she tells me she's married / has a boyfriend. I have absolutely no interest in competing for a woman, nor will I be a facility for cheating on her husband or boyfriend. Once, a girl blocked me after a few weeks of talking. This is because I made a Family Guy quote, and apparently, she did not like Family Guy at all. Girl I was starting to go out with placed all these demands on me a couple weeks before Valentine's Day. You're going to come up to see me. We'll go out to dinner. You'll bring me flowers was pretty much the gist of the order. I told her she doesn't like flowers or chocolate, and she said I know, but I want them anyway. Immediately lost interest. I'm not going to get you something you specifically don't like, just because of some societal construct that's built over time. When she introduced me to her rude, loud, annoying friends. I'm a lady, but the stories in this thread are not giving me hope for my newly single status. Dating can be the worst. When they said they were a Trump supporter, they started smoking. So I started doing voiceover at an early age. There's a point to this, I promise. It was something I got into by sheer luck and ended up in a couple cartoons and anime, which was awesome for a guy who was 18. It was a blast. But people found out and most of them thought it was cool and mostly it was just a job to them. This girl was my crush at the time and the minute she found out insisted one speaking to me only in accents or stupid, very terrible character voices, and it wasn't a joke. She wouldn't stop, even when I asked her to. She then proceeded to ask if I could get her a job as an extra or something, and wouldn't stop, that either trying to show me how great she was. Then when I wouldn't, proceeded to tell everyone how I just got there cause I paid my way in, and I wasn't really talented or worth it. So that one dried up real fast. Jokes on her though, been in the industry ever since. although I guess I did buy my way in, cause I ended up getting engaged to a woman who works as a producer. We don't work in the same fields anymore, but she was an intern at my first job. Constantly having her phone in her hand, I couldn't remember a moment when she didn't have her phone in her hand. Texting and driving. Texting and checking social media pages while at dinner. There wasn't a single moment that we had that didn't have to be documented for others to see. She always had last minute classes or assignments when I asked her out. Lose the crush. You deserve better. When she put a cigarette in her mouth. I low-key don't like black people. It's not about skin color. It's about the culture. I pretended to go to the bathroom, but actually ducked out of the restaurant and left her to deal with the bill. I'm mixed. She took a piss and didn't wash her hands afterward. It was like that scene from How I Met Your Mother when glass shatters in their mind and they realize all the terrible / annoying / whatever stuff they don't like the group does. She said that teen moms are the lowest of the low and that it's their fault that they're suffering because they couldn't keep their legs shut in front of a teen mom who was trying to breastfeed her fussy baby. I never ended a date so fast. Found out recently that she got knocked up and the baby daddy split from a throwaway FB account that I have. She's playing victim and at the same time flirting with a coworker. I'm glad I dodged that bullet. When they are mean to animals, that's not right. When I find out she likes someone else, all interest disintegrates rapidly. Being rude to people without any cause or reason. When I realized that after a few weeks she had literally not asked me a single question about myself even once. Seems some people are programmed to socialize IRL, as if they are on Twitter where everything out of their mouth is a status update about themselves, and they've no concept or care about how to carry on a conversation, or get to know anyone else. When she told me being on the t-shirt committee of her sorority was just too much work, I found out she was actually a straight man with long hair. When they told me they have a crush on someone else, said something like, if they make money they have to be good. Basically was saying any company or person that was successful could not be harmful or evil. We had our first real conversation. Super cute blonde woman, 22. My friends warned me she wasn't very bright, but when she patiently explained to me that rice was made from potatoes it was all over. This actually happened last night. But she told me about how she thinks there will be a 7-year period before the end of the world in which human society will be unified under one leader and one currency before the Antichrist shows up and delivers the mark of the beast to distinguish his followers. I don't care if you're religious, but this was a bit much for me. And we kissed, and she made fun of me for being a loud kisser. His favorite song was Shape of You by Ed Sheeran. When I realized she was dumb. I'm not one of those pretentious people who pretends to be sexually attracted to intelligence, but I do want someone on my level I can have a proper conversation with. She also didn't understand any of my references, even the extremely common ones. 3 little words. I'm pregnant. Finding out they reposted Ask Reddit threads. She called a black person the N-word. That alone was enough, but she also dropped a harder and was doing it explicitly to insult them. She was white. She told me no protection would be safe the first time. Refused to do anything with her. Said about how much she hated almost all of my hobbies and basically everything. That makes me me. By Felicia. She lit up a cigarette and simultaneously threw the empty pack on the floor and said she already had a boyfriend. Edit. I made this up. She was into partying and drinking to the point of blacking out. Said no when she asked me out. I had a massive crush on this girl throughout high school, but she was only interested in my best friend, so I didn't really pursue. I mean, I was completely blinded to all of her faults. She was lazy, which led to being dirty as well. I mean, I'm not saying I was a prize, but you're not going to walk into my room and find the remains of food on the floor from days prior. The main thing about her was she was down to earth, or so I thought. She was. Mostly, but I'll come back to that in a moment. I did my 4 years in the military, and accomplished a lot of what I went away for. I needed discipline, and to grow the frick up. Also, I wanted to not be scrawny and timid. It worked. So I came home, reacquainted myself with things, enrolled in college, and at some point she said, "Oh my god, you got hot." Now, I don't think in those terms at all. I hate mirrors, if that gives you any idea. Proudly working on a great dad bod at the moment. What bugged me was that now, all of a sudden, I was some kind of option, not because of my personality, which hadn't changed, but solely because of my looks. That crush and all the associated positive memories died in an instant. Quite glad I never got involved with her. Make sure to like and subscribe so we can watch together.